Part 3 of Aaron Beauregard's Try the New Candy. This short story is called House Sitting with Dad. I want to give a rainbow trigger warning. This one is in the point of view of a child, and I think this story tops how freaking gross the playground is, and that's saying a lot. I don't know the age of this kid in the story is, but he's definitely too young to understand a lot of the things that goes on. There is no physical abuse going on to him, but he is exposed to very adult things at a young age. I can't express to you how much I don't want to talk about this one, and if I tell you in detail the entire story, I could get in trouble. It's so... Aaron, my guy, what are you doing? Why? So to be as vague as possible, a father and son go to house sit this woman named Joyce, her place for the night. And the son goes off by himself and does some mischievous things. And, yeah. The house is secretly, I think, trafficking or some deep web type of shit. Unsure if the father knows about it, but the son finds it and does some nasty stuff. So the age of the kid is unconfirmed, but he's definitely too young to understand physical intimacy, spicy adult films, the fact that he assists his father in shooting up a specific heroin drug. I really don't want to talk about this one. So the dad has the son watch spicy adult films together, and the father describes everything that happens in the films between two women, between the men and women. It's like gross. The son doesn't understand. He's like, wow, this stuff makes me feel excited, and it makes me feel weird. I don't understand what they're doing to each other, but for some reason I like it. It's gross. And at the end of the night, every night, the son helps load the needle for injections into his father for, he calls it his medicine. It makes him go to sleep and shit himself. It's shooting up drugs. Having your son help you shoot up drugs. So, after that whole scene of the intro with how gross this kid's life is, the father's like, we're going to house sit for my friend Joyce. You know, and he describes to his son, like, oh, I'm trying to screw this woman, but she doesn't like me like that. I'm pretty sure she's a lesbian. It's just weird. So they get to the house. Dad has the son give him the medicine in grave detail. And then the son starts snooping around the house. The house is filled with these weird porcelain dolls everywhere, so Joyce really likes creepy, haunted house looking dolls. The son goes into Joyce's room and finds a secret compartment hidden in the dresser. And it has a fetish type doll costume complete with a rubber mask. The son puts the mask on to, you know, the dolls might not attack me if they think I'm one of them. So he wanders around the house in this doll mask as his dad is passed out on the couch. And then that's where the son finds a secret closet in Joyce's house somewhere. He saw the light kind of coming out through this weird hidden wall, and he ventures through this tunnel. And it leads to a scene where he sees this captive woman. He says woman, but I think they're younger than that. So in this pristine white room, the girl that's standing up, she's beating her head against the wall so much that her skull is fractured, and blood and brain matter are painted the wall. She seems unaware that he's there. And across the room at this table is seated another girl. I don't think she's dead, but I'm not sure if she's alive. She has her eyes plucked out, she has no tongue, and she has rods shoved into her ears. She's actively kind of decomposing and leaking. And the son is very turned on by the smell of decomposition and blood in the room. Here, go get your treat ball. Go get your treat ball. Get it. Get it. So the son in this room gets the bright idea to be like, wow, this is kind of like a scene in all the horror movies Dad showed me growing up. what if I killed these women so they don't have to suffer anymore? I'm sure Joyce won't mind, because she could just find more girls. So this child is very turned on by the smell in the room of death, and he doesn't know what's going on. So he goes back to his father, who's passed out on the couch, takes his drugs, grabs a hammer, and then goes back to the girls. I literally do not want to talk about this anymore. So he goes back to the room and starts beating the standing girl with the hammer, breaks both her knees, and injects her with the drugs to calm her pain. And then he goes over to the girl sitting at the table and begins beating her to death. And then he necrophilia. Probably the nastiest necrophilic scene described in a book ever. Again, the main character is a freaking child, so I'm not gonna describe that to you. And then he does the same thing to the girl that is now laying on the ground. So pretty much the story concludes with him becoming an adult that day in his mind. And he's like, wow, now I'm gonna try really hard in school. I'm gonna get a good job. I'm gonna graduate college, earn enough money to get a house like this so I can have my own room. And so I can do the same thing when I'm older. So, this story was gross. And I'm done talking about it. Ew. So here, palate cleanser. Hello, baby.